assuming that you make it there
Hey,
first.
I'm running out.
But what is that?
I'd like just tear the combos off.
Yeah, you wanted to save weight, just go ahead and tear that piece of paper in half.
Dad, everything has weight.
Just think, if you take only half that piece of paper, you could fit an extra beer.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Actually, I'll be able to have room for the beers I'm taking that are already in there.
I saw the mileage and I saw what we were doing, and I was thinking this is pretty ambitious.
You can live for 7 days without food.
I don't think you can survive skinning a lot, though.
You could. The Donner Party did it.
Well, look what happened.
Soccer players in Peru.
The reason I put this trip together was I wanted to visit the huts that my good friend and mentor John Seipel built back when the 10th Mountain Division hut system was in its very infancy.
This is the start of an 8-day backcountry ski hut trip with John Seipel. John built many of the 10th Mountain huts back in the 80s, and he hasn't returned to most of them in over 30 years. The ski group heading out on this backcountry adventure are friends and family that helped take care of the Polar Star Inn over the years. They meet to start the journey at the 10th Mountain Division's Camp Hale, outside of Leadville, Colorado. This may be John's last chance to do a big hut trip, but deciding to go along was not a simple choice.
I had open heart surgery 3 years ago and had my aortic valve replaced with a pig valve.
John was really concerned about making sure he was in shape and did everything that he could to be in shape.
Yeah, I knew this was a big trip for him, but I wasn't worried about it.
I'm still not really sure what happened.
Planned this for a long time, over a year, so it's go time.
A 5-mile trek with 2,490 feet vertical gain is slated for the first day of skiing as they make their way to the first hut, the Fowler Hilliard. This hut site is above tree line at an elevation of 11,500 feet. The excitement is palpable, and they might be too eager to get going.
It's not that I haven't come up against my limitations and recognized it. You know, maybe I shouldn't say never.
Yeah, what about your twister, John? Oh no, you're under the branch. John, you're supposed to be demonstrating on video your old age wisdom. Wisdom.
I'm sorry?
Wisdom. Show
I'm
us
sorry?
wisdom.
We definitely had more mishaps than I usually like to fit into one trip.
And that's where we come across, and then we'll just, hopefully it'll still be clear and be able to see the hut from here. And then tomorrow we ski down this bowl.
Hey, you know, I think it's going to be faster if we go back down and cross the river and then go up this road here.
I forgot a towel.
And if we cross the creek again, we could probably catch a few brookies and maybe have a little lunch tomorrow.
You know? Would you rather keep on going or go catch some trout?
My name is John Seipel. I used to have quite a bit to do with the 10th Mountain Hut System. My participation with the hut system started when I built the Polar Star.
The Polar Star Inn was the 4th cabin built in the 10th Mountain Division hut system to connect the Vail Valley to the Aspen Valley.
The 10th Mountain Division hut system is a series of backcountry cabins that are separated by one-day travel through the Colorado wilderness.
We built our first huts in 1981, as far as the huts that we own and operate with McNamara and Margie's Huts, designed by Fritz Benedict, the founder of our system.
Fritz Benedict was a soldier in the 10th Mountain Division, the elite American ski troops of World War II. The 10th were trained in the Colorado mountains at Camp Hale to prepare for combat and survival in the European Alps. The 10th Mountain troops were deployed in the Italian Alps. These mountain ranges exhilarated Fritz Benedict, but he was also inspired by the Italian mountain hut system already in place. After the war, he settled in Aspen, Colorado, along with many other soldiers of World War II, and Fritz implemented the 10th Mountain Division hut system. The 10th Mountain Division hut system was designed as a service to all the nature lovers that want to immerse themselves in the backcountry of the Colorado Rocky Mountains and have a warm, dry place to rest at night. The huts are available to anyone, if you can get there.
Yeah, because these adventures that people plan, they don't always go as planned. It's what makes them adventures.
It ain't a fit night out for man nor beast. And these are the kind of conditions where you really get hurt.
Still kind of worried that 2 of the guys aren't back yet because it's so blustery out there.
I think we started in nice sunny weather. It turned into winter here in the middle of April, so that's good. It's Colorado for you. But
And you're confident you'll find them out there?
yeah, they'll be on the trail, you know, but it's just like I said, it's nice to see a friendly face coming through the storm. Okay, so we're gonna head out the ridge to where the hill comes up. It's the one place where there's some potential for kind of taking a wrong turn. So I'll go to there. If I haven't found them, I'll head back here and then come up with a new plan.
Well,
we didn't know the way to the hut.
Well, is that what happened? I thought you've been, or he's been
20
here.
years ago in the summer.
Oh.
well, what's the problem, Ann?
If we're here before dark, it doesn't even count as a mishap.
Because I had made the final decision to go down. It was 5 p.m. and it would have been my first time abandoning ship on the way to a trip. But I think that would have been the right decision.
Do you have any stories that you remember about building the original Hilliard hut?
I'll tell you one thing. They said they have a lot of volunteers. And I said, well, we're not doing volunteers. We're going to get it built, and we're going to get it built on time, and it's going to be built right. Well, I was raised in Southern California. As a kid, I had all sorts of projects, HO train sets and this and that. I had a paper route and sold Christmas cards and, and this and that, but I could never fund all my projects. It was really frustrating. Christ, I just couldn't get enough raw materials. What's an 8-year-old going to do, right? I mean, there are some options, but robbing a bank was not one of them. And then moved out to Colorado when I was 20 or something like that. The winters were different then. They were longer, a lot more snow. And it was about 1986, and I was doing a lot of backcountry skiing. And I just heard through the grapevine that the hut system was headed this way. And I just saw this as an opportunity. What a cool project, and I think I can get these skiers to pay for it. I mean, that's the bottom line. But I just designed the Polar Star, and then 10th Mountain was thrilled with what they saw, enough to hire me to do these.
The Polar Star Inn, located on New York Mountain outside of Eagle, Colorado, was used as a design template for the other huts that John Seipel helped design and build. The Polar Star set a standard for what a good backcountry hut looks like and feels like. Eventually, the Polar Star became a guiding light for the entire system. John came up with timers on the gas, bench seats, and double insulation to reduce the noise.
That was something that the other huts were missing. Because you get 16 people in here, with heavy boots on, and it's like a herd of cattle.
And Carol pushed hard to get vinyl covers on all the beds.
They used to have, somebody else's sheets, and I was like, no, this is not happening here.
We learned from those designs and we tried to improve upon them.
Elliot Goss was the architect, and we hit it off.
There's a large pool of intellect to draw upon, and John has been a big fish in that pool.
The 10th Mountain Division contracted John to build the Hilliard hut, the Jack Al hut, the 10th Mountain Division Memorial Hut, Uncle Bud's hut, and the Skinner hut.
He built a bunch of them, which is really quite a legacy.
John built 2 huts at the same time each summer for 2 summers in a row. 2 of those huts were so remote they required helicopters to bring in materials, one of which the Army volunteered.
I didn't drive every nail. There's a lot of people involved in it. I had subcontractors and yada yada. And I got the credit for it. Foundation guy, log guy, photovoltaic. It was pretty avant-garde then, we'll say 30 years ago. But my brother Ted was the main carpenter on this, and he camped out up here.
Here we are, home sweet home.
And did a wonderful job.
It requires a lot of hard work and a lot of luck to construct huts in the high country. You have to be bold, you have to be courageous, You have to be willing to work long hours, start in the snow in the spring and end up in the snow in the fall, and get the job done. He gets the job done, no doubt.
And these walls were balloon framed. They were done completely when we raised them. Of course, everybody that helped raise them, got double hernias, but whatever, we got them up quickly.
On the job, he's, you better be like, if he says put the board here, it better go here. He's very exacting in his work. Totally different to hang out with, more of a fun, loving personality.
John is old school OG hut. He's like hut royalty.
He's really strong. He's unstoppable.
The group is still finding a rhythm as they begin the ski from Fowler Hilliard to the Jack Owl Hut. It's a beautiful day with questionable spring conditions that can go either way.
They talk about the alignment in the stars. But I'm here to tell you it has nothing to do with the stars. It's all about the alignment of the skins. If you don't have those skins lined up, those stars aren't going to do you a bit of good.
This is the perfect equipment, perfect weight, perfect conditions. Everything's wonderful.
Just give these skis like even a couple of minutes of sun.
What is it for a wax for free?
Yeah, we'll crayon them.
You'd like be skiing and be fine in the shade and then hit a sunspot and just stop.
This is literally the worst possible conditions for that sled.
Yeah.
So the sled's going in those trees right there with whatever we're not taking for the rest of the trip. It took us 3.5 hours down. It should have been about a 40-minute ski.
We're all struggling.
Even when you're in misery, you're like, I'm pretty damn happy right now. There's nowhere else I'd really rather be. I love it, but maybe we're weird.
We're all struggling. Not all of us have a good mood about it. It was quasi-euphoric to come up there and ski up to that thing and land on the deck and just look around and notice how straight it is and how well taken care of it's been. And I built that hut 30 years ago. I hadn't seen that but one time since.
As the sun rises on the third day, they prep gear and head out from Jack Owl Hut to Vance's cabin. Vance's is not a hut John built, but a necessary connector cabin en route. After 3 days of uphill skiing through backcountry conditions with some of his closest people, John has arrived in his element.
Just all the people that I have met as a result of this, and the level of camaraderie is, for me, I've never had anything like it in my life. Likely won't have anything like it again.
It's something that has your name on it, your heart in it, your soul in it. It's something that you don't repeat.
I really had no idea that it would be really so special.
It kind of makes you like stop for a minute and breathe and really appreciate what is Colorado and what is nature.
What you see here and what you feel here is the culmination of all those people coming together over time, with the same idea. And the same idea was just to enjoy the backcountry, unfettered and raw.
The life of the cabins has been just an integral part of John's life. Just the good feeling of being there was something very, very difficult to give up.
When I decided to sell the hut, I knew that it needed some new energy, some younger blood.
We did decide to sell it because we finally found a group of people that we thought could carry it on in a manner that it deserved, not turning it into something that it wasn't meant to be.
John takes us on his journey that swings between honest self-reflection and uncompromising humor. Day 4 begins at Crane Park and ends at the 10th Mountain Memorial Hut. Morale is high as John strategizes the logistics for his next hut trip.
This would be an annual thing.
How old do I gotta be, like 105 to get out of it?
You can't go anymore. You better come up with a lazy boy on a pair of skis and brainwash Nick into pulling me around.
I have been a caretaker for him for 2 of the cabins that he built. One, the Polar Star Inn, and the Seipel hut.
I would have been more honored had they renamed the big cabin after me. I love Shawn. He's like a son to me.
I'm going to send him out first, just in case there's any danger.
I've had quite a few people involved in this, like, in that way.
How you doing, Shawn?
I'm hanging in there.
All right. Make it okay? All right,
Yep.
Here I come.
Shawn is the standout, for sure.
30 years of, this is not a pump. It's a frost-free hydrant. Lift the handle up if it's not frozen, and the water will come out.
When my friend Nick called one day and said, hey, if you can talk John into selling the cabins to us, I think I can make it happen.
You know, it was just one of those things where the timing just happened to be exactly right.
Like he's kind of almost like the brains, I guess, and Shawn is like the heart. And together they make a really good team.
That this was not an overnight decision to sell this. It was an unfolding process that took years.
Letting go of the Polar Star Inn, John was admitting to himself that he could not take care of it anymore. But there is security and relief in knowing that his legacy is in good hands now.
Growing old gracefully is the act of letting go at the right time. And some of it is agonizing.
I have relinquished way too much control here.
The hut is on the other side of that ridge there yonder.
I mean, a ways on the other side of that ridge. I mean, we've got quite a few more ridges between here and there.
Just a yes or no will do. Let's try this again. The hut is on...
Hands off or no? I'm not going to.
All right,
Try
let's go.
not.
That'll have to do.
I actually think
After all, I'm not in charge.
Well, don't we all have to let go of things at different stages in life?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. And then back up. It's not up to the hut.
I'm beat, baby.
Why?
Because the guy that's in charge of the
When I was looking, it didn't look like steep. It's shorter though.
orienteering
And then it's downhill to the hut.
has got a skewed view of what's steep and what isn't. I had a real hard time just catching my breath completely and not thinking about my breathing.
John alerts us that he had a long night of no sleep, as he couldn't catch his breath.
I feel like $500,000.
He feels physically terrible, which raises serious concern. We gather our gear and check our maps before heading out from Uncle Bud's to the Skinner hut.
This is the last hut we're going to that John Seipel built.
Their group considers canceling the rest of the trip for the safety of everyone. After all, he had a valve replaced in his heart just 2 years before.
I was scared, but bear in mind I've got Porky in there, right? It's not the original equipment.
John is now facing another hard choice, one that a lifetime of self-awareness has prepared him for.
Just have some trepidation about the altitude.
Yeah, you don't feel it.
I've got a couple of man-made parts in there, and I'm sorry.
Do you want someone to go with you? I'll go with you. I'll go out too.
I'm sorry.
Don't be
Don't be sorry at all.
Well, I am.
You're amazing. Do what you do.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the next 20 years, that's all.
Uh-huh.
And with all due respect, they're more important than the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
I just can't catch up. And it'd probably be just fine, but man, I just don't want to risk it.
And how many years have I promoted this very thinking to other people, and here I am. I just feel like I'm putting myself and therefore you guys at risk if I go forward. I love you so much. I love you too.
Cassie, I love you. What is it? I can tell you this, I've never done that before. Never really thought that I'd be following my own advice. You know, it was like, okay, well, this is my limit. You got to let go. You got to let it go of physical things, dreams, desires. Some of them are just unrealistic at a certain point.
And I think he's playing it safe like he's always taught us growing up.
The courage it takes to turn around is, you know, that's what we talk about. That's the difference, you know, between smart decisions and people who get themselves in trouble. And a lot of people do that because of ego and pride. And I've been taught, like, by him, know yourself.
That trip was a real struggle. I wasn't disappointed in myself or anything like that. I thought it was just the smart thing to do considering that pig valve in there.
You know, I told him as we were hiking back up for him to head out, I said, John, you know, it's time for you to face facts. You know, you're getting a little older. Your limit is 5-day hut trips.
The group has dwindled to 5. However, determination fuels those remaining. A rhythm takes over, and the 4.2-mile ski over Hagerman Pass feels like an easy routine. After 43.6 miles and over 12,000 vertical feet, 7 huts and 7 nights, they are ready to go home.
Oh, emotional day for me, to say the least. I wish John was here to follow us out.
But it's important to remember that this hut trip was not completely all uphill.
It's all downhill from here, Cassie.
We're gonna send it so hard.
Speak for Cassie as well that John is here with us. Yeah, he's right now. He's here in spirit.
I tell you from my perspective, when I get to one of these huts that I built with this crowd, it doesn't get better for me. I miss that. I miss that camaraderie, you know, for a set goal. And of course the goal was to line my pockets, and they all played along pretty well.
They did it, and everyone survived. But more importantly, the legacy of the Polar Star has been placed in good hands. And for John, true to form, he found a way to make his next trip a little better.
Well, you know, if you want this to be an annual gig, Shawn, you better come up with a lazy boy on a pair of skis. Yeah, and brainwash Nick into pulling me around.
Well, Nick's carrying your weight today, so I'm sure. I got this backpack, it's got a seat right here.
I'm not telling him
You
that.
just have the view, you can video the whole time, and talk shit while you're sitting right there.
That's hard to do.
I see how it's
I'm
challenging.
sucking air. I can't talk on this trip. maybe something flatter with less verticality so I can have some fun and talk.
There you go.